Jim's Gamer, please help. We've got a lovely, beautiful boxer who got pregnant by a mini Australian Shepherd. She had 9 puppies, was completely healthy before giving birth. Sadly, she passed away the night that she gave birth. We're devastated. On top of losing my best friend due to labor complications, we also have 9 newborn puppies to care for. We bought what we've got to read more here. I'm looking for a foster mother to no avail. We have a problem with the puppies taking too much form and it ends up coming out of their noses. It scares me to death, especially now that I've lost my Harley girl. I'm not sleeping, I've been barely able to eat, grief stricken. We bought many different bottles. Okay, so what your problem here is, so just to kind of get this in a nutshell, is obviously, you've lost your dog, it's devastating, you're very grieving over it. I fully understand that's a horrible situation, but you've got these puppies now, so now's the time to do something for these 9 puppies, and that's what your task is to get this part done. And obviously, without having a mum and no milk and no surrogate mum, you're going to have to step in and either bottle feed or tube feed. I would recommend that you tube feed, and the reason for it is, it's very, very quick to do. If you've got to bottle feed 9 puppies every 3 hours, and each puppy takes 10 minutes to bottle feed, that means it's going to take you an hour and a half to do the feeding, and an hour and a half later you've got to start the whole process again. Your whole life is going to be consumed with putting milk in these puppies. If you tube feed, you can tube feed a puppy in less than a minute. And if you've got them all lined up, I could tube feed. Obviously you've got to get the hang of doing this before it's just like falling off a log, but it is easy. And I could tube feed 9 puppies in 5 minutes. I could have them in an incubator by my bed with my watch set up to wake me up every 3 hours. I'd go to bed at midnight and give them a feeding before that. I'd wake up again at 3, and then I'd do my next feeding at 6, and I haven't really been disturbed. So that's what you've got to do. Bottle feeding's out, I think. Tube feedings in. All these problems you're talking about stuff coming out of their nose, all of that is gone by. You know exactly what every puppy gets, and it's very, very quick and easy to do. That's your solution. That's what you need to do. I've got videos now to bottle feed. It's not difficult. Sorry you're having a problem. Okay, next one. Hopefully it's even more. Kelly O'Leary, I'm planning on investing in some of your items, progesterone machines, heating kits, whelping cages. I also want some future studs from you also. Would you mind if I use one of your Frenchy studs on my full suit lilac and tan mini English? She's 25 pounds. No, absolutely, we do that. Yeah, so the thing to do is to contact me or Cody. Phone number's there on the beginning, opening kind of credit to the whole thing, or at the end. And we'll get you set up. Absolutely, we'd love to help. When can I introduce, this is from Character 9, when can I introduce my puppies to hard kibble? Thanks in advance. Well, don't start off with hard kibble, start off with puppy mousse. So what we use is Royal Canine puppy mousse. You can buy it at PetSmart, Pet's Edge. Comes in a can, mix that with a little bit of, maybe a little bit of goat's milk, and make kind of a slurry out of it. Get them started on that, have that for a couple of days, then get them onto just the puppy mousse. Then go get your kibble and wet it down with some warm water and let it sit for about 30 minutes. Give them that. And then after about a week, you can get them onto hard kibble. So you can start this process, earliest is 3.5 weeks. We start typically, you might do that if mum's having some problems and you want to get mum a break. 3.5 weeks, you could try starting this. Keep them with mum as well, and then just keep them with mum in the evenings and at night. And after about a week of that, you should be able to wean mum completely. So by the time you're 4.5, 5 weeks into this, you could have weaned mum, if that's what your goal is. All right. Cassandra, can you please cover Merle to Pied? Lots of confusion I've seen in the bully community. When 2 allies are independent and do not fear, lots of people spreading rumors of lethal white deafness. Okay, so they are independent of each other. And so you've got 2 separate issues here. If you get a dog that has got 2 copies of Pied, and it is a Pied dog, and it has no color on its head, specifically its ears and its face, then you can have problems with deafness in those dogs. So, what do you do? If you have what we call an extreme Pied girl, then don't breed her to a Pied and completely get away from this whole deafness, extreme Pied situation. If you have a Merle dog and you breed that to another Merle, 25% of those dogs on average would be double Merles, and those can also have deafness issues as well and blindness issues. So you never breed a Merle to a Merle, but breeding a Merle to a Pied is fine. just, you just don't want to get 2 copies of Merle. If you only get 1 copy of Merle, this is just not an issue on the Merle side at all. And then the pied side is only because you've got 2 copies of pied with extreme pied, a very white face. So if historically you've produced those kind of puppies, don't breed to a pied again, and you eliminate that. But these things are mutually exclusive. There's not a problem with breeding a let's say you have a Merle dog who doesn't carry pied, bred to a pied. It's not a problem. Not a problem at all. There's not, the 2 half recessives aren't going to get together and make a full recessive of something else. They're independent of each other. So I think there's some misinformation out there. Well, there's always misinformation out there. Let's hopefully I'm not giving out misinformation, right? Not my goal at all. Okay, going on. Let's have a look here, make sure I don't skip one else. Sorry about this first, my mouse has gone belly up on me. Francie 4, we have an English Bulldog, just got an X-ray performed to see how many puppies. We were told 1. Kind of puzzled since the stud we used had a total of 14 puppies on the last 2 males before ours. Could our stud guy shocked as well. Could the X-ray be wrong? Well, depends on when you did the X-ray. I mean, look, if you did an X-ray when you're 10 days out from having puppies, and you don't tell us if that's the case here. I mean, if you take an X-ray at like day 40, the bones haven't calcified very well, and you might miss them on the X-ray. But if you're at day 45, day 50, they have calcified, and you can see that on the X-ray. And if you see on the X-ray that you can see there's 1 puppy and then nothing more, it's going to be 1 puppy. That's it. But there could be lots of reasons why it's a single puppy, so let's investigate those. So, why do you get small or singleton litters? And the answer is because number 1, your most likely thing is you bred at the wrong time, either too early or too late. And that will make for a small litter. So that's the most likely thing, is that. The second thing is the quality of the semen was suspect. You should have looked it under a microscope. This guy supposedly has had last successful litters, so you think he'd be okay. But somebody should be at least looking at it. If it's a side-by-side AI, then just look, if you don't have a microscope, you can visually look at it and see that it's nice and creamy looking and it's probably okay. But it's a first attempt to try to make sure it's okay. It's not anywhere near as good as physically looking under a microscope. Number 3 is that the AI was performed incorrectly and the semen didn't stay inside the dog. A lot of it leaked out. So, and then the 4th one is there's something wrong with your dog. Not likely, but possible. If you have a history of the dog not getting pregnant or having small litters, I would go do a blood count of the dog to make sure you don't have something funny like thyroid condition going on. And then the last one is you're just unlucky. Shit happens. Well, you just got unlucky and you'll be better luck next time. Okay. Maruno's vlog. Hey. What's a good website to post puppies for sale? I also want to breed my French, but I'm worried that I won't be able to sell the puppies. Yeah, well, I mean, so I'm actually putting together a course that's all about this, the marketing of puppies, and it's actually a subscription course, and I will announce that here probably in the next week. But the answer is where are good places to post your puppies for sale? Well, there are websites. The AKC Marketplace is probably not a bad place. It has to be an AKC registered dog to do that. And I've never used it, but I've had customers who say they've had good success there. I mean, you're definitely talking to an audience of people who are interested in your dogs, specifically if they're AKC registered. So I think that's a good place. It's not too expensive. Then there are places like Puppy Find, Next Puppy. I used to use those. I haven't used those in a long time. They're so swamped that it just get lost in all the noise. Not really keen on those. I think better places are social media, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. These are things that are basically you can use if you're good at it. You can get really good results, and they're basically free. So I would be investigating those. Putting an advert in the paper, don't think much of that. Word of mouth and to people who've already sold puppies, of course, are great, but that's not the situation you're in. But will you be able to sell the puppies? Then the next part about this is that you've got to do a good job at marketing your puppies. So that's a whole subject in itself, but it all comes down to taking good photographs, taking good videos, doing lots of them and being super responsive to your customers and answering all of their questions and backing that up with a quality product. So there we go. How are we doing here? Dean Tyler, I have a 12-month-old male Frenchie. He's very nippy when we have kids. What can I do to calm him down? Train him. Train him, train him, train him, train him. So, you'll see lots of things on the internet that talk about how to train a puppy and how to train a puppy or a dog that's being too aggressive. But, when you've got kids around, why is he doing this? Is he getting jealous of the kids, or is he just getting excited? But either way, you've got to step in and you've got to teach this dog, it's not really a puppy anymore, it's an adolescent, how to behave. And there's two different ways to go at this. One is reinforcement of correct behavior, and the other one is negative reinforcement of behavior that you don't like. And I would actually use both. These days, people don't like the negative reinforcement, but I'm kind of more old school on this. I mean, for me, if a puppy starts nipping on a kid or anything, it would get a smack on the nose, is what I would give, to let that dog know with a sharp no, so that dog knows that's not the behavior you want. And at the same time, when the dog's behaving properly, it's treat time, and maybe that treat is given by one of the kids after a little bit, so that he knows that if it's nice to a child, he gets a treat. So those are some ideas. But there's a lot more information on the internet, but it all comes down to you training this dog to behave the way you want it to train. It's on you.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.